is Robert. Oh, good steal. Okay.
Here comes White. Took it away from the rookie Hawkins.
Drilled. Deep right center field. Way back.
Found the coffin on this one for the Buckeyes. Woo! Gotta get much tighter contest on that type of range.
He certainly did. Little ball throw to hit there.
Good morning, world, and welcome to yet another great episode here with us this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Yes, world, as we embark upon on what will be another great episode this morning. And so, yes, world, we are back like a shark attack, back like we love something, back like we ain't got no clothes on our back, and for the world is a better place when the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast is taking place. And so, thank you for tuning in with us this morning as we conversate about the latest sports topics that have taken place from this past week and will be upcoming this week. As a reminder, we always like to remind our audience that the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast can be found on Facebook via the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page, on Instagram, at the Early Morning Sports Talk at the Early Morning Sports Talk POD, and again on Instagram at the Early Morning Sports Talk POD. YouTube, just go in your search box, the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. It is always a blast to have you all tune in and participate with us every weekend. Also, please be noted on our Facebook pages. You can find the live stream as well via my page, Shamar Goodmans, and Jones, aka People Hernandez, as well as generally our guests for this conversation that takes place every Saturday morning. We are in-house this morning, by the way, and so today is March 30th of 2024. We have seen yet again another wild and crazy, fascinating week in the sports world, in which we have seen the NCAA tournament take place, where tournament favorites have failed short of their NCAA tournament Final Four aspirations. And so Cameron Brink, as example, with Stanford on the women's side. Oh, yes, she's AP All-America. Oh, yes, her team did great all year, but they ran up against the NC State team, Jamar, that truly has had a lot of tournament success over plenty of years. They've been to the Elite Eight, I believe, 5 of the last 6 years. And so it's not like that was a cakewalk program. And so they failed yesterday at Stanford Cardinal. Purdue took care of business. U of I took care of business. We have matchups that are taking place. And so with that, we have seen just a lot that has happened on the men and women's side. Leaving us now with 8 teams on the men's side because we got our Elite Eights, and then we got 12 on the women's side, in which the 4 teams will lose their seasons today on the women's side. Additionally, fellas and Jamar, we have seen Draymond Green get ejected, yet once again leaving Steph Curry in tears right on the basketball court. And so this is all within 4 minutes of the start of the basketball game. And so we are also seeing the NBA playoff races heat up, leaving us with roughly 2 more weeks left within the NBA's regular season. And so with that being said, we will not have any guests this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. However, introducing my brother from another mother and one of my partners here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Mr. Jamar Goodman. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Man, Brandon, I am hopeful. Maybe, just maybe. You know, we'll get to it.
Right, I'm with you. And so yes, and additionally, introducing our other partner and our other brother from another mother on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Mr. Ian Jones, aka Rod Tillwell, aka People Hernandez. Mr. Ian Jones, my bro, what it do? We know you'll be with us shortly. And so with that being said, Jamar, let's get right into our conversation, and upon that, I'll do tags, etc. on Facebook. And so with that, my bro, we are seeing the NCAA tournament take place. A lot has been happening. And so I want you to give the world your thoughts, and I'll chime in as well. I'm sure Ian, when he's in, he'll chime in as well. For our 2 viewers thus far this morning, please feel free to chime in with us on whatever platform you are on as well. We want to talk some sports. That's how we get our weekend started. And so, Jamar, bro, give us your NCAA tournament thoughts thus far.
Man, so, as we enter this weekend's contest, starting Thursday, we got to the Sweet 16. And, I felt like we may not have had like the crazy upsets leading to this weekend, but we definitely had a few that's like man, like we gonna have to pay attention to some of these guys. Like, for instance, NC State. They came into the tournament hot, winning their conference tournament, and now they are a team that can't be ignored. I mean, they pretty much, I'm gonna say dominated that game against Marquette, but they pretty much had control of that game pretty much from start to finish. Clemson is a team that people just didn't really really count them in too much, but once again, I mean, they doing their thing and putting people on notice. But a couple things I definitely want to talk about, though. Maybe.
Okay. Go ahead. Maybe. Go there, bro. Go ahead.
Maybe.
A couple of them.
Maybe. Just maybe. Maybe. Right. That's almost say maybe, just maybe. I know we've been to the Elite Eight. One time in the recent memory here, not too long ago, but still, with that team, I didn't think it has a higher ceiling as this team here. So just maybe. Right. They definitely have a task ahead of them. I was watching yesterday's game. This team is definitely different. This Purdue team is definitely different than we've seen in years past. I know Jeremy talked about it last week. This team can actually hit perimeter shots. This team is top 10 in half-court offense. This team is definitely top tier in the nation in offensive rebounding. Like Zach Edey, I mean, his game has definitely developed from when he was a freshman to what he is now. It's like the team is playing with a lot of confidence. They don't get rattled like that. They actually hit shots, make the right play, very efficient, surgical offense. I mean, defense is good enough. I mean, and the fact that they're playing Tennessee next, and based on the Tennessee Creighton game, which I was definitely watching with my fandom here. I was hoping Tennessee won because the way Creighton played, I think their style of play probably would have gave Purdue a little trouble there. But I think they have, personally, I feel like they have a better chance against Tennessee because pretty much we know Tennessee is pretty good defensively, and their offense basically is don't connect or nothing at that point. Yeah, you basically neutralize him a little bit. It gets a little interesting for Tennessee. So yeah. Nevertheless, we got that going on. Duke, Houston. I mean, I feel like. No, we about to say.
Go ahead, Jamar. I'm listening. I'm gonna jump in on that one though.
I feel like, Houston has been relevant for the last at least 4 to 5 years. I feel like Houston has been, a high seed.
Ever since Simpson came to that program, they've been a powerhouse.
They have, and
it's a powerhouse, but they've been around. They've been peaking, right?
Right. Is this this decade's or this recent generation's version of Gonzaga? Because I feel like they get around, but they don't actually get there. They don't get it done. And it's
but about the injury to Snead yesterday, their leader, their point guard, I think that was huge for them.
It is.
I think that was really huge for them. He could have probably easily erased the 3-point deficit they lost.
I mean, true, but also in the fact that they escaped the previous game with a bunch of their starters fouled out and stuff like that. And
yeah, it was one of the craziest games in college history. Texas A&M came back with about 1 minute and 30 seconds left from 13 points down. And it was Snead who again saved them in overtime after a lot of their players fouled out, etc. They definitely escaped. That was an all-time classic game, Texas A&M and Houston.
Yeah, so it's all-time classic. I give you that, but it's you've been known to really be this quote-unquote new age powerhouse, but yet, can we get you to a Final Four? Can we get you there? And then, not to mention North Carolina, like they actually was looking good, and then, you know, Alabama was like, you can't put us away that easy, and then all of a sudden, and if I'm not mistaken, North Carolina was actually up in that game with under 2 minutes left.
For most of that game, yeah.
Yes.
They were up most of the game. They gave up the lead with 1:30 left.
Yep. And so that happens, and then I know you was a fan of Arizona. But man.
Yeah, Arizona, man, they got the clamps put on them, bro. Like Caleb Love, college is just a game in where it's emotions, and you got to really be able to control your emotions for real. Because when you are a large program and you see the, small program or the underdog as you being a upper dog, at least in that game, especially the tournament, it's the pressure, fellas. And you see that team taking away what you usually been doing the whole year, Jamar. Yeah. It hits you in a rush, and like and you got to really compose yourself. And it's not to state that, Arizona was probably not the better team. I think they were the better team than Clemson. Yeah. I think they got the better NBA talent. But
I agree.
Clemson just so happened to hit them in the mouth and keep hitting them in the mouth. And it's hard to respond for a lot of teams. So I give Clemson a really good shout out, man. They really took care of business. And the thing was that they dominated inside, fellas. They center for Arizona is talented African kid. He can play, he can block the shots, but he cannot tame the two bigs for Clemson. And they've been dominant, Jamar, and since the tournament. They've been dominant since the first round, since the ACC tournament. And so Clemson is a real threat out here. And to think that we got a Clemson, Alabama, this sounds like a damn college football playoff. We got a Clemson, Alabama, Elite Eight. And so it is crazy out here, man. Like to think that these teams actually got a shot. One of these teams gonna be in the Final Four. And
that's
so
wild.
It's something like this every single year. And so it doesn't surprise me. So Ian, bro, any thoughts you got from the tournament as we just talked this conversation? Purdue, Illinois, anybody?
Gonzaga, bro. I think me personally, bro, I think Gonzaga is cursed. Like since I've been a kid, no matter if they go 35-0, 36-1, they just can never get it done. We seen them go to the Final Four. What was that? 2 years ago?
Yep, they go to the Final Four. Championship recently.
And he hit the game winner.
Championship recently too. Yep, and they hit that game winner against UCLA.
UCLA. Yeah, man. I didn't got to a point now where I probably would never pick them. They got to be cursed, bro. At this point, bro, they'd have been so far. They got to the championship game, and then I seen last night. I think they 0-10 against number 1 seeds. I said that's insane.
Wow.
So
Mark Few keep that job though. Mark Few's the head coach.
Yeah, I mean they stay relevant. They stay with a nice team every year, and that's the thing. It's really not a, they take a year off. This is every year. They're like one of a top 3 seed in the tournament. They get far. They just can't get over the hump. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. Absolutely bananas, man.
Illinois we did say last week it could be possibly 2 Big Ten teams in the Final Four. And
absolutely.
We almost there. We gonna see if they can get it done. I mean, Purdue, is this it? Even with Illinois, if Illinois can get over UConn, is this it? Are we gonna see 2 Big Ten teams in it? So
right.
I'm excited about that. NC State, a shocker. Even Duke for me, kind of is a shocker. I didn't see Duke getting this far, but
right.
NC
State and Duke, by the way. NC State and Duke in that bracket.
Yeah. So is it gonna be a 2-team Big Ten Final Four? Hopefully so.
Right. It's a lot of questions, fellas, because here we are, fellas. North Carolina State and Duke, what bigger rivalry than that? I mean, outside of Duke and North Carolina, their second biggest rival is arguably North Carolina State. And so to see that rival occur is amazing. North Carolina State on this win streak, as you mentioned, Jamar. As you know, and it took North Carolina State, bro, 5 wins in 5 days in the ACC tournament in order to get to where they were. And now here they are, 3 wins into the tournament, and now to the Elite 8. So
that's all it takes for you to get hot at the right time.
This is March
Man.
for you. This is March for you. Go ahead, Jamar.
Facts. I just want to. I know Ian, you briefly talked about Illinois. I just want to man. I did not realize how good that Shannon kid was.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, boy.
Bro.
Yeah, he gonna be something too.
He is. Like, that game that they played. I mean, listen, Iowa State is no slouch at all.
No.
They're not.
They can score.
But Shannon dictated and like made shots when he need to, made plays when he need to, play defense, made steals when he need to. Like, every time that Iowa State was getting ready to, like, it seemed like they had momentum and may have like took over the game and maybe pull away, like, they come right back. Illinois come right back. Shannon make a play. It's like just something. And look, I understand UConn it pretty much feels like UConn versus everybody at this point because they've been that dominant. I don't think if UConn was to win, I don't think they're gonna win by double digits the way they've been doing in this like the past 2 years.
Right.
Nah.
They've only trailed 28 seconds in this whole tournament. I don't think
Which is nuts.
that is. So I do give Illinois a chance here because I don't think they've played anybody like this before in their past, either last year or this year. I don't think they play anybody like this. Not saying that they aren't dominant. I'm just saying they haven't played anybody like this. So this one right here, I cannot wait to watch.
Yep, it's gonna be a dogfight, and Jamar, I tell you, it's gonna be a dogfight, and you know why? Because a lot of people underestimate Jamar the bigs of Illinois. They got 2 nice bigs. And Beefy Boy number 44 can get buckets, man. So
Beefy Boy.
that's what I call him, man. And it's sorry, y'all. He number 42. Number 42. Dane Danger. You know, he gets buckets, man. And then they got another guy that can go down there and get buckets too. I do not know where the kids are from, but they play like they from Chicago. So I'll be thinking a lot of their roster from Chicago, from UFI. And a good amount of it might be local talent. But, you know, Chicago produced some of the best talent. Marcus the Mass, you know, like their second go-to bucket getter. And so in the moments where Shannon Jr. Is, you know, trying to take a break or something, you know, they give him the ball, and he do what he do. Coleman Hawkins, man, another guy that can score the ball. So Justin Harmon, number 4, right? And he's like a good 3-point shooter. So U of I will definitely be UConn's toughest test, I think, possibly in this tournament, fellas. This is a game that could very well go U of I's way, and the reason being is because U of I has been in a lot of dogfights with Purdue and some of the top teams in the country. You know, no disrespect to UConn's conference compared to the Big Ten, but the Big Ten is a gauntlet, and so it trains you for these moments. And so we'll see how U of I responds. That's going to be the game of today. It starts at 5:09 Central Standard Time, FYI. And then the College Football Playoff National Championship starts at 7:49. I mean, sorry, between Clemson and Alabama. That starts this evening, y'all, at 7:49 Central Standard Time. And so get your popcorn ready because one of those teams, they're going to be dancing in the Final Four. And additionally, Tennessee and Purdue. Tennessee, hey, do not sleep on them. I've been stating, you know, they got one of the best players in the country too, fellas. He's going to be a first-round pick. I forget the kid's name, but he's a top scorer. Duke has one of the best big men in the country. And, you know, they got a nice shooting guard too. I know that kid from Duke, the center, he's likely going to be an NBA draft pick. So he's talented. And I'm like just watching him and I'm like, man, oh, he can play. And so here they are in the Elite 8. Stories always just, when you see stuff, sometimes you just see it come to fruition. It's crazy. And so that's where we are, fellas, with the Elite 8. Are we still all riding with UConn?
It's UConn versus everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that's tough for us because we are a Chicago-based podcast. It's tough for us, but we do think that UConn is the best team in the country. But of course, this would be fantastic if we see U of I take down UConn. Because if they do, then this probably means that U of I could very well, I won't want to go that far in, but if they take down UConn, it might be kind of far-fetched to think about it right now because they never got over that hump in 05. But they would get past UConn.
That would make things very interesting.
Very
interesting for the better.
It'll make things very interesting. And there are some brackets out there that got an Illinois Purdue National Championship. FYI, there are some brackets out there. And so Purdue definitely one of the favorites. And so we are rooting for Purdue, Jamar. We are rooting for Purdue. Let's see how they do against Tennessee again. That's a very explosive team. So they will have their hands full. But thus far, nobody has not been able to tame Zach Edey this tournament. He's looking like a man amongst babies. All right. On the other hand, fellas, want to shout out the other NC State program. So, and Jamar, FYI, NC State got the men and women in the Elite Eight.
Yep.
Watch yesterday, Cameron Brink and Stanford dominate that first half. I did not see that second half because it looked like they were up by 11. But here we are. NC State beat them by 10, which means that they dominated them in the second half. And so sorry for Cameron Brink. I know she cried. I seen the meme and stuff like that. But shout out to the NC State program. They are doing big things. And so, fellas, with the women's side, just really quickly, just want to give y'all FYI today's matchups. We got Iowa, okay, Colorado. Everybody's watching Caitlin Clark. So if you want to watch Caitlin Clark, she's against 5 Colorado. This has been one of the more explosive college scoring teams in the country, just like the men's side. The women's side is very explosive too. 3:30 p.m. Additionally, Angel Reese, 3:30. She actually starts at 1 p.m. So that'll be the first game. And so just an FYI on that one. Additionally, tonight, fellas, we got Juju Smith versus Baylor. And so that's at 5:30. And then the other superstar, Paige Buckers, her UConn Huskies, they go up against Duke tonight. And so these are the 4 matchups. So all the superstars, all the top players in the country I done named. Paige Buckers and UConn, 8 p.m. tonight. Juju Smith, USC Baylor, 5:30. Angel Reese, LSU, 1 o'clock, first game. And then Caitlin Clark, Iowa versus Colorado, 3:30. And so, FYI world, those are the games. We on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we are rocking with the Gamecocks. We believe that the women of South Carolina are one of the top teams in the country. And pretty much, it's going to take a lot for them to lose. They did get a scare, right, fellas, from Indiana.
Had their first tough game.
They got a scare, but they survived. And so with that, fellas, if you guys are ready to progress, maybe we could talk some NBA. It's up to y'all. But with that, fellas, let's progress. We got a situation that occurred. And this is important because this is a dynasty here. I'm sure maybe, guys, you possibly heard about Draymond Green's antics again this week. Now, he wasn't violent or anything. He didn't do anything violent, but, Draymond Green has his ways. And so he got a foul in which he ended up tripping Paulo Baccaro. And, kid was on the floor, etc. Referee called him for a foul. Next few plays, I think it was the next play, actually, because y'all know how Draymond worked. He pissed off from that foul. So the next play, he get another foul. He get angry and he get a tech. And then he follow up and argue with the referee for a number of seconds. And the referee don't want to continue to argue with him. And so the referee ejected him, even in the midst. And so at this moment, Steph Curry was not trying to argue for him. At this moment, Steve Kerr, he additionally stated post-conference that Draymond Green got what he deserved. And so with that, fellas, the Warriors are now in a tough battle with a Houston Rockets team that is red hot, and
They
that
won
could
last night again,
eventually
too.
they did. Uh-oh.
Yeah, they won
And
last
so
night.
we got to take a look at these standings because they might be tied with them, if not a game or something like that. The Rockets now are red hot, and the Warriors are in dire danger of missing the playoffs. And so with that, just a question, fellas. I know Draymond Green is the heart and soul of this franchise, but it's really Steph Curry. Draymond Green has had a lot to be the big brother in that franchise, etc. And so I'm just curious, fellas. Should the Warriors consider moving on from Draymond Green, either let's say after the season, because I don't see this Warriors team winning the championship. Maybe anything's possible, but I don't see them winning the championship. And so with that, Jamar, we follow up with you, and then from there, and you follow up as well. And so, Ian, I mean, Jamar, bro, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I mean, as we know, I feel like, and I feel like a lot of people would agree, like the Warriors don't win those championships without him, especially the first three. I think he was very vital to those, especially the first one. This past one, I think they still went. I think they still needed him when they beat Boston, but I know he wasn't as impactful in that one. But I still think he did enough. But regardless, I feel like what he is now than what he was then is not even like the impact there is not even the same. Like, I get that the quote unquote enforcer, the vocal person, the rah-rah guy, and all good and bad. But it's like I feel like there's no situational awareness. I mean, we talked about this early in the year when he got suspended indefinitely, right? Like it's just antic after antic. There's a whole laundry. There's a whole highlight clip.
Indefinitely. That's not that don't happen a lot, fellas. Just an FYI. Like,
no, it don't.
No.
It don't. You think this was the NFL and Roger Goodell laid down the hammer on somebody. That's what you think. But like rhetorically, to a certain degree, when I'm about to ask this question, like, what value does he bring anymore? Like, what do you bring to the table?
All right.
Because at this point, like, I know him and Steph had that chemistry on the court where he definitely has helped Steph get a number of points and wins. I get that, but it's like, what good are you if you're not there? What good are you? Because, I mean, bad enough that your play has diminished over time, but then on top of that, like, even the little things that you could probably do, like, you're not even doing because you're not on the court because you're too busy with all these other antics. Just like, I think, didn't they play last night against Dallas? He was, not Dallas, the Hornets, and getting ready to almost kick the Batman Grant Williams in the groin on some crazy stuff too. Like,
that was last night.
Yeah, so it's like, what are we doing? Like I don't even think he want to play basketball anymore. I think he's too worried about his podcast. Bro. So yeah, if they, by all means, let them go. Let them go. If you can't get something for him, let them go. Because it's at this point, you're not getting any value for the man. The man's not doing what he once did for you to help win those championships. The intangibles he used to bring, and then also the high IQ awareness in the offense, some critical defensive plays. Like, yeah, but it's not. I don't even see that anymore. So just
right. And so if you're Mike Dunleavy, in your opinion, and you're that front office and Steve Kerr, you think it's time to move on?
I think, yeah, I would be looking to that. Maybe trade him to Cancun for a couple of drinks. I don't know.
And so, Aaron, bro, your thoughts on this?
Well, they are currently number 10 in the West.
Yep, and they a game ahead of Houston. Just one game
ahead of Houston. Houston has won 10 games in a row. By far, probably the hottest team in the NBA. Maybe
it's 11 now, Ian, because it was 10 yesterday. So They won. It's 11.
Yeah, they
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Mavericks 9-1. But yeah, they're the hottest team right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. The occurrence that happened the other night, and you've seen Steph Curry get kind of emotional. I think that might have been the icing on the cake for Draymond. Draymond, he been doing some, Draymond things as he, always does. Like Jamal Stady got into it with Grant Williams, not last night, but I think Thursday night, I believe. It was Thursday night, but it's just always something, and it's like you can't do this right now. At this pivotal time in the season. They trying to get
Mm-hmm.
in the playoffs or get in the play in, and rightfully so. If I'm Steph Curry, I would feel the same way. They know they need Draymond. He's a big part of their team, but I mean, at this point, I feel like he's gonna make it bad to the point where nobody else is going to even attempt to sign him or attempt to trade for him or attempt to want him because it's like Jamar stated, what are you bringing? But a
Right.
headache. It,
Right.
it's I get sometimes the refs they can kind of be on BS, but you have a reputation. So at this point, just let it go, bro. Like in the Magic game, he got the foul early. Argued that call, get a tech. Then the second time, it's not even the play you involved in, and then you get another tech, and now you're out the game. Like, come on, bro. I
Right.
need you for the whole game. Now, granted, they did win the game. Steph Curry put him on his back, and they did win the game. But they not young no more. You got think Steph Curry is 35, 36 now. That's even crazy to say because it don't feel like he is, but he is. And I think we are watching the end of the big three in Golden State. I think at some point you have to let him go. I mean, it's gonna be hard though because he just signed a new contract. Was it 4 years for like 100 million? And he's still under contract. So at this point, he'll have to be traded or released. But I don't know, man. I think he gonna make it real bad to the point where I don't think nobody else gonna even attempt to sign him because it's like who want to go through that headache and
Right.
against
Especially
spending
for the money.
indefinitely. Yeah, because it's gonna be another 60, 70 million he gets signed to if he goes to another team. And it's like, who wants to deal with that headache? It's not
Mm-hmm.
if he goes to another team, it's not gonna be the Warriors. So it's gonna be another team. And who's to say they're gonna like Draymond or it's just you gotta keep your composure, dude. We trying to get into the playoffs. We can't have you going off the edge. You've been doing this all season. You missed 35 games.
Right.
You missed 35 games or 35 or 36 games from not even being hurt, I don't believe. This just come from suspension and you can't keep your composure. So I don't know, man. I
Right.
think I think that might have been the icing on the cake, man. I don't know. Steph.
Steph
Steph
Curry
Curry. He's
crying
a
on the
he's a
court is not a good
yeah
look.
yeah definitely not a good look. I mean, he might go to bat for Draymond and try to keep him around another year or so, but if I'm the organization, I'll be like, you gotta go, bro.
Yep.
'Cause like
And this has
Jamar
been
said, what are you bringing to us at this point? I mean, yeah, leadership and on the defensive side, but if you can't stay on the court and you can't keep your composure, you can throughout of the game in the matter of 10 minutes. What are we really doing? What are you?
and that's not even he's not the greatest on defense anymore.
I mean,
He's
yeah,
not.
I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
he
I
used
mean,
to,
they're
but
not they're
he's
not
lost a
young.
lot of that too. He's lost a lot of that ability too,
So
man. Because age is still catching up with him too. And so,
all three of them.
right. Well, maybe yeah, but Steph still got that cooking. And so with that,
Yeah,
let's speak of Steph. Perhaps should Steph Curry being at this organization, um, is not achieving championship aspirations at this point. Um, should Steph Curry, of course, the Warriors don't move on from Jamar, but should Steph Curry potentially begin to go out there and look to see what's in the market if he want to get him another ring?
Boy,
That's a tough question, but it's something that a lot of people might not imagine. Number 30 being in a different uniform, but here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we envision that. Could Steph Curry consider, or should he consider moving on? Being that if he go to another team, whatever the team he go to, that's going to be a championship threat immediately.
I mean, honestly, I guess it depends on what's like really important to him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he already got 4. You're already like in the discussion for like the greatest point guard of all time. You know, a lot of people view him as top 2, top 3, whatever. You're already in that discussion. You've been labeled as the greatest shooter of all time for like at least the last decade now.
Right.
So does he want to be one of the few that, you know, want to keep his quote unquote legacy intact and be a lifer for the Warriors, which you don't hardly ever see ever in this day and age.
Right.
And so for me, I guess it depends on what he wants. Should he? I think he should probably just ride it out, because I mean, where is he going? All right, so I'm pretty sure he don't want to have the label of, you know, trying to get another ring type deal, just be a ring chaser. So if he doesn't go there, where is he going? Home to Charlotte at a dumpster fire?
Right.
So he can take some cool pictures with Michael Jordan sometimes. Like that's about it. Nah, I think if I were him, I probably would just stay, because I mean, I'm pretty sure him and like LeBron and Kevin Durant, these guys are definitely setting up themselves life after basketball, and all the stuff they probably established in that area already. It's probably makes more sense for him to stay. I mean, like I said, you got 4 already. Yeah, you got your MVPs, the unanimous MVP. You got your Finals MVP that everybody was like talking about that you don't have, and you got one. You own that series. You took over that series against Boston a couple years ago, which a lot of people think they shouldn't have won, but he won that series. So I mean, it's like, what else is there to prove if he leaves? Like, you just be ring chasing. Does it really impact the legacy as it should? I think he should. If I were him, I would stay in that uniform and retire a Warrior. That's me.
Right, and that if he were to go to another place, and that it won't really help his legacy. His legacy's set at this point. Yeah. All right. And so
just go play with LeBron. Just do it.
All right. Okay. That'd be dope.
Hey, tell your boy Rich Paul to stop blocking that trade at the deadline in.
Just do it. Just do it.
And so you saying that'd be dope to see him and LeBron, they maybe be at the Lakeshore in that case.
Yeah. Is it? He'll play more than Draymond.
Right, man. That'd be something, man. That'd be something to see LeBron. And if they do that, they'll probably get Dre on that team too. I bet Dre be on that team. They'll find
Oh yeah, for sure.
He'll be on that team for sure.
That'd be the only team that'll take Draymond Green. LeBron would take him. If it wasn't if it's LeBron or nobody else at this point.
You know what? I didn't think about it. I didn't think about that. He would take Draymond. He could wear 23, but
right, because Draymond highly respects LeBron. Highly looks at him like
they're very close friends.
Right. And so that makes total sense. And that'd be dope to see. If they were to be on a team, they would be championship favorites. They would totally be champion. I know it's the Nuggets, all these other great teams, but if Steph and LeBron were on the same basketball team, that would be hard to beat. That'd be really hard.
I don't know. This was 5 years ago, sure, but I don't know. For me. I don't know. They'd be favorites. Yeah. I give them. I put them in the conversation. I don't know. They'd be favorites though. They need.
They'll be in a conversation, but yeah.
And if they just get a little bit of a piece, just a little bit of the piece, man, it would be so tough to beat in the playoffs. They would be so tough to beat. They will have to be disinterested. They will have to literally be disinterested, LeBron and Steph. That's how much it'll take for them to not for a team to beat them. These are two of the greatest players of all time. I don't care what age they are. Like, they will be tough to beat. The best chance will be Denver. but that's it. Jason Tatum, everybody, he owns them, LeBron. So it'll literally just be probably, as stated, that'll be their best shot, Denver. Denver will be their best shot. Couldn't go off and score with anybody. That'd be it. That'd be it. Steph Curry, man, he hit the shots. LeBron and Steph could score 80 points in a game, in a playoff game. And so, like, that'd be a lot. That'd be a lot to deal with. All the other guys got to do is hit about 10, 15 shots. The other guys, that's it.
I mean,
LeBron about to be 40 though.
All right, I respectfully disagree.
It ain't about the age; it's about the production. And LeBron still can put up 30 and 10 easy. Steph can still put up 35 and 7 and whatever. Like
they would
Steph
be,
dude,
it would be cool, but I don't think they would win it all. They would be 40 years old and 37.
Right, it wouldn't be.
And I'm saying it don't have to be multiple years, but if they play 1 year in the playoffs, I am not picking against LeBron and Steph Curry. All you need is
I mean,
and if you guys don't believe me, put a poll out there. I'm quite sure people would state, yes, if all these other teams were to play LeBron and Steph with a few other pieces they got in the playoffs, it will be hard to beat them.
It's
too hard.
So
it would be hard from how can I say this? It would be hard from an experience standpoint.
Like what's that N word? Nostalgic. Like because you'll have that thought in your head, like they are who they are legacy wise, and you don't want to be like you give them the benefit of the doubt type deal, right? That's what it would be. But
as far as athletically and them having to stay, that'd be tough, man.
That I agree. And
40-year-old and 30 and 37-year-old.
I'm talking playoffs, fellas. And so I'm talking playoffs, like that'd just be, and you just give them one good power forward or something that can get some boards and score a lot of points.
I don't think they're gonna get. If that was to really happen, AD would have to be gone.
Yeah, good. I mean,
like, whew, imagine that.
Because LeBron is
brought it up, but if AD's on that team too, I don't think nobody's beating him.
Now, that's a different story of AD on the team.
You just put them with a bunch of guys from Walmart. Put them with a bunch of guys from Walmart.
This was 10 years ago, sure.
No, that can get you just a few buckets in the game. And
let's just say you take AD off the team, and they have LeBron, Steph, Austin Reeves, and those guys. Now, I still don't think they win it all.
No, I don't.
They probably go to the Western Conference Finals, but I don't think they win it all.
Wow, I think they go to the
without
finals.
AD,
and I think they have a good chance of winning.
I don't see it because it's like. I don't see it. It's too much. It's too much. You asking them to do too much. It's basically get a ring and die trying. They gonna die trying.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think they could. I think they the age and all that stuff. I understand, fellas, but as stated, like LeBron, Steph, Austin Reeves. If you just mentioned Austin Reeves, he can score too.
More so LeBron, because LeBron would be, like the facilitator and all that. Steph too, but see, Steph can shoot, so Steph can. And
that's the whole problem, is that Steph can shoot. And if Steph get a few buckets and LeBron get a few,
it's the health for me, the health factor, because you asking them to do all of this at a certain point. And like this comment says, when that wall hits, it's going to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely, I agree. But they managed that to the playoffs.
That's going to be tough to get
but you manage that to the playoffs, but then you ask them to flip a switch.
LeBron's hard out again this playoffs. Now imagine if you had him with Steph Curry.
I don't even know if he's going to be a hard out this playoffs. I don't know that.
If he makes the playoffs, I'm putting it out there, he'll be a hard out again. And you put that as stated with a with a Steph Curry, that's a lot. And so yeah,
we
fellas,
gonna poll this. We gonna poll
right,
this.
we gonna poll this because I believe that if you put Austin Reeves, you just mentioned Austin Reeves, that might be enough. And you put a Spencer Dinwiddie, you put a Rui Hachimura, who
I don't
can
think they
play.
even play this time.
No.
Man,
I don't think they make it past the second round with that.
That's
They
gonna be a
probably
lot.
don't. That West is tough.
The West is definitely
Like
tough.
not like Jamar said. If we talking 10 years ago,
Man.
hell, we don't
it's
even have
over.
to talk 10 years ago. If we talking 4 or 5 years ago, for
Yeah.
sure. Before the bubble, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
But
Okay.
now it would be cool to see. But it's just like, it'd just be like when Carmelo Anthony joined the Lakers. It'd just be something to say that they did and they just doing to be doing.
Right. If this was like Steph's last year and then LeBron was like, you know what, I'm making my last year too. Let's play together. By all means, I'm all for it.
Carmelo, he was nice, but Steph ain't Carmelo. Carmelo ain't Steph.
Yeah.
We talking about Steph Curry here.
Yeah, but I mean,
Fellas,
Carmelo's a first ballot Hall of Famer, just like the rest of them.
We are talking about Steph Curry and LeBron James. Wake up, guys.
No, I think
We're
you live
talking
in.
about Steph Curry and LeBron.
I think you living back in 2014.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Guys,
It's not the same.
Around them. I will tell you, they will at least get out the West.
No.
Yep. They will get out the West.
Jokic and Kevin Durant and Anthony Edwards.
They will get out the West.
No.
I don't think so.
It's too many young, hungry, healthy dogs that's going to dismantle that team because them two cannot win it by themselves.
Hell,
And
they about to
I'm
get
not
caught by.
saying they can't.
They about
But
to
if
get
they
caught by
put a
Jalen
few
Green.
pieces around them is what I keep saying, fellas. I know. I'm aware of what you guys are saying. I get it. But if they would have put a few pieces around them, I do believe that they can win. That's just
They would have to get Jalen Green or Anthony Edwards.
yeah, that's not. No.
And that ain't
wow,
happening.
man. This is disrespect to LeBron and stuff. I can't believe it.
No.
They would have to get Anthony Edwards in. Seriously? What? So literally,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
telling
because
me
you gotta
that Steph Curry
look.
can't score like Anthony Edwards? You telling me that LeBron can't still score like Anthony Edwards? You telling me that?
Not like Anthony Edwards, no.
Okay, Anthony Edwards can dunk, but LeBron putting up damn near better numbers than Anthony Edwards and Steph.
But you asking them to do something at a very high level at their age for playoffs, for just for the playoffs. You said just coast through the season, but get to the playoffs and turn it up. And we're talking about
bro, Steph Curry could get tired, but I just have a hard time believing that LeBron would be the horse in that case.
And you're talking about them playing up to possibly 20,
bro. 40 is
20
the new
minutes a night.
Now.
You talking
40
about
is the new 30 now. Especially for LeBron. I know LeBron tired. Yes, I get it. But LeBron takes care of his health, guys. You guys know how much this guy.
Yes, he does. He spends $1 million every year at least. But I mean, the man has been playing basketball for more than he's been living over half his life. At some point, it's not going to be there.
Catch up.
I understand. And if it ain't there, as stated, Steph will be there. Rui will be there.
Oh my God! I mean, if that's the case, okay. Let just put it like this. Let's just put it like this, and I'll leave it at that. What if LeBron hits that wall, right, and he becomes no more than
15
Draymond Green to a certain degree? Let's just say his impact is not there anymore. I'm just talking about the impact, and you basically looking at this year's Warriors, then, right? Because you got Steph Curry still. And LeBron just becomes very diminished value of what he was. Then what? Because they're not. They about to get catched by the Rockets, like you just said.
LeBron will hit that wall. I don't believe. I think LeBron has a chance to go out, literally still playing at a very high level.
So let me ask you this. So
I think so. I think he has a very good chance of going out playing at a very high level, scoring 20 to 25 points a game, maybe even more.
So if you believe that, then you believe LeBron James is the GOAT of all time.
I'm not saying I believe he's the GOAT of Jordan, no, but I do believe he's right there. And I've told y'all that if he get a 5th championship, he is the GOAT. I've said that. Yep. I've said that. Yep. And so because the longevity will make him the GOAT. And if he were to get a 5th, he would be the GOAT in my opinion. And
LeBron, my
so,
favorite player, but I don't think he's
you
gonna
know,
get 5. I
like,
don't think he'll get 5.
I don't think he gonna win 5 either. I'm just saying if he were. And so, yeah, fellas, we got to poll that one. We agree to disagree.
Yeah.
All love,
Yeah.
but I think these guys with a few more pieces will be a serious threat to win the NBA championship. Only toughest opponent probably would be Denver. You may put Dallas in there because of Luke and Kyrie. But
Not
yeah, Celtics, fellas. Mike scored over 20 in Washington, but the impact just wasn't there. Yes, I understand, but you know, Mike was 43 at that time. And
No,
Mike didn't have
he's around the same age now. Like
Mike didn't have
Like 39, 40, somewhere around there.
yeah. Mike,
41.
yeah, I don't like that comparison. I understand, but LeBron just a little different when it comes to that. And so like yeah, plus, you know, LeBron got AD. Mike didn't have nothing in DC. What do you have? Kwame Brown and a few other folks. Rip Hamilton. So so yeah, the impact wasn't. It definitely wasn't there because Mike didn't have nothing in DC at all. Mike was just hooping and getting that ownership from that squad. And so yeah, fellas, let's talk briefly about the Celtics. Celtics, they have actually, fellas, if you are not aware, they look to be the number 1 seed overall, but they have definitely clinched the East. It's to the point now to where Jason Tatum is on TNT doing interviews when they pretty much are playing games. So with that, right, you saw on TNT. And so with that, fellas, are the Celtics and should the Celtics be still the favorites in the East? Is there any challengers you feel like that could really push them? Milwaukee 5-5 last 10 games, lost 2 in a row. Celtics just lost 2 in a row. I mean, they were 57-14 and lost 2 in a row, but they might continue to lose because of you know players getting rest now. 32-3 at home, by far the best record in the NBA. And so, fellas, just curious to know, is the Eastern Conference, is it the Celtics you feel like, or is there somebody that could truly challenge them? Is the Jalen Brunson just dropped 61 last night, right? Cleveland is a decently balanced team. You know, Milwaukee got Dame time, and they got, you know, Doc Rivers. Not, you know, yeah, I got Doc Rivers. You know, our Bulls can score points, you know. Yeah, man. So Miami still got Jimmy Butler, right?
Nope.
Jamar, East, Celtics. What's your thoughts real quick, bro?
I mean, they definitely earned the right to be the clear-cut favorite by far. So, I mean, I'm not going to take any just, you know, credit away from them or anything like that. But I feel like we all know that when it comes down to the playoffs, it's more so about matchups. Like, for instance, this person says they can't beat Atlanta. They definitely can't beat Atlanta. Whatever reason, Atlanta gives them issues. But
yeah, I literally said that yesterday on the page that, you know, Atlanta has been giving them problems, and they have.
Like, with or without Trae Young, it don't even matter. It's wild. But, you know, but once again, it comes back to matchups. But it's like Boston, like I said, earned the right to be the favorite. They have they just been around so long. It's like watching Gonzaga to a certain degree, right? They pretty much they're Eastern Conference Finals like every year, sniffed the NBA Finals, actually had a championship in their hands until, you know, the greatest shooter of all time said, like, hold my beer.
Not so fast, my friend.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I need this one. But I mean, they are who they thought they were. I mean, they're good. They are good. So we grade Boston like we grade probably Milwaukee to a certain degree. We grade Denver now because they're champions. It's basically championship or bust. That's it. We don't care if you make it to another Eastern Conference banner, Eastern Conference. We don't care if you even make an appearance in the NBA Finals. Like they got 17 in their history. They looking for number 18, right? They it's been 16 years since they hosted one.
Yep.
So yeah, that's all we care about at this point. I don't care about anything else, and I'm pretty sure they don't either. And that's probably why they are as dominant as what they are. And basically, if they're healthy, they probably will. Because the fact that, because I know I stated early in the year that the addition of Damian Lillard, Milwaukee Bucks would be there. Apparently, adjustment period still taking place, and the fact that you hired Lack Rivers out of nowhere, that was like the most chaotic, wildest, random thing. I mean, the man was barely giving us basically his thoughts on televised games. Like, does he really have a voice? I'm still trying to figure out, can he really talk and enunciate clearly? Then all of a sudden he's back on the sidelines coaching. I'm like, my gosh. But nevertheless, no, it's pretty much Boston versus everybody in the East, just like it's UConn versus everybody, like South Carolina versus everybody. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. And
I believe it's really nobody else in the East. I mean, besides Boston. I mean, they had a hiccups here and there, but I think now this is Jason Tatum's time to take it to the next level. I heard LeBron and JJ Redick talking about Jason Tatum the other day. I think we expect so much from Jason Tatum because he has experienced a lot, but he's still young. I think he's only 20. I don't think he's 25. I think he's 24 or 25, I believe. He's been to the conference finals. I mean,
a number of times.
Almost every year he's been in the league. Almost,
Right.
to be exact. Been to the finals once. So now it's time for him to take that next step. But like JJ Redick and LeBron was saying, he got time. Mike won his first ring at 26, 27, 28. I think LeBron won his first ring at 27, 28. Kobe was probably around.
He was younger.
Jason. Yeah, he's probably around Jason Tatum age. Because he came out of high school, but I think he's at that point. So I think this should possibly be the year that I think they could possibly get it done. If they don't get it done now, I think you got to let go Jaylen Brown, or you got to pick one. They'll probably pick.
Really?
Yeah,
no, and
they
that
keep getting that.
contract, and on top of that, he's very talented. The man can play the game.
But
He's a nice basketball.
But I mean,
come on, y'all. Come on. Let's. We're not even gonna argue. Really.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta look at it from this standpoint. They got Drew Holiday now. They got Porzingis. How many more excuses we gonna give them?
That's
I understand, but the excuse would be Denver. That's the excuse.
No,
and so I believe that, and July can disagree with you too, that the championship is now it is a championship or bust. But if they were to make the finals this year for me, fellas, that's where I expected them to lose to Denver in the finals. And for me, like, I would maybe try to pick some other pieces up, pick another shoot up or something, but I'm definitely not letting Jaylen Brown go. No, I'm keeping him. I'm keeping Drew. I'm keeping Cap. I'm keeping, of course, the franchise, and I'm rocking with them and try to add some other pieces and maybe see if Denver drop a piece or something. But, I think the ceiling for the Celtics is the finals, but I don't know if it's to win the championship, because truly the Denver Nuggets are a better basketball team than the Boston Celtics. They don't have a joker. Nobody in the world has a joker. And so for me, I understand what y'all are saying, but no, The ceiling for the Celtics is the NBA Finals, and if
So
they make that, that's great. They make the conference finals and they lose, that's a problem. That's a problem.
But what's the point of trading for? What's the point of trading for Porzingis? What was the point of trading for Drew Holiday? If the point
To have a chance at the championship, fellas.
the
They
point is
had a
to
chance
win the
to
have a
win
championship.
chance at the championship and make the finals.
No,
They
That's
already
the point.
did that.
yeah, they made the finals.
And they made the finals, yes. But the goal as stated is to make the finals and win. But I'm not sitting there to be angry if they don't win, because the truth is that nobody has the Joker.
I mean, yeah,
That's just that. Nobody has a Jamal Murray. Like these guys, different
I would
level.
argue that Jason Tatum is better than Jamal Murray, though.
I agree, but I'm
Yes.
talking about them combined together.
And that's where you got Jaylen Brown and you got Jason Tatum.
And I would say that on paper, if we're looking at it on paper, Boston is more talented front heavy on the front end than Denver.
This team, yeah.
Yes.
But they don't have, the Bruce Browns no more, and some of those guys. They left, so.
I mean, Aaron Gordon, he not a talent. KCP,
We're not saying he is.
nice.
No.
Yeah, for sure he is.
Michael Porter Jr. not nice.
But I'm saying
Yeah.
Boston
He's
is
not
more
talented.
talented than them. That's what I'm saying.
Reggie Jackson, even the guy at the end of the bench, can score for Denver.
Yeah.
Like, that's a very good basketball team.
I'm
And
just
so,
saying, like, who's
My
guarding?
ceiling as stated is the finals for them. Now, if they make the finals and they lose to Denver, yes. Now, if they
Break it
get
up.
whooped by Denver in the finals, that's even more of a problem. I'm expecting them to go in a fight with Denver. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting 6-7 games. That's the ceiling for the Celtics, but I don't know if they get past Denver.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, if they make the finals and they don't win, break it up. Like Jamar stated, they made
Break
those
it
pieces.
up. But
Yeah.
what
They
you said,
made those. They
take
made
away
those.
Jaylen Brown for that.
Like Jaylen
Yeah.
Brown. This is Jaylen
Oh,
Brown's 8th
man.
year in the league. 8th.
Yeah.
And Tatum's
can't
what,
keep-
7th?
We can't keep going to the finals, the Eastern Conference Finals, and not getting it done. I mean,
I get
What
that.
are you, Gonzaga? Like, for real?
Like
Yeah.
I get that, fellas, but as stated, sometimes you gotta look at the competition. And so I'm not saying that they can't beat Denver. They can, especially with how they play at home. They will be tough to beat at home, but I don't know if they can beat Denver. But I do agree that the Eastern Conference, yeah, they should win the Eastern Conference. They should. Now, it's very well possible that they could end up playing, guess who? Guess who they can end up playing in the first round? Their nemesis.
Atlanta.
No, or Miami.
Mm.
And so I'm just saying, if they play Miami, it'll be a little scary for them because of Jimmy Butler, because of the history. I'm not saying that the Heat will beat them, but damn it,
they're gonna
might
play
have
them
a
tough though.
They're gonna play them tough. And so we just want to point that out, that they could very well end up playing, guess who? Miami. Now, you might want to play Philadelphia because Embiid is not playing and he's out. But, of course, everybody want to take on Philadelphia right now, right, fellas? I mean, that's cake right there. But Miami,
He's supposed to be back soon.
I hope he comes back, because if he does, it'll make it really competitive.
That puts a wrinkle in a lot of stuff.
Oh, it puts a wrinkle on the whole Eastern Conference. And so,
Yeah.
basically, if you want to Google that, Jamar, see his update. But if he comes back, yeah, definitely. Because the thing is, as the Bulls, we want to play Philadelphia. We would
I
love.
don't think he should come back though.
I don't think he
Matter of
should either, because his health.
Nick Nurse said, good likelihood Joel will return before the playoffs.
Yeah, so that means he gonna play in the playoffs.
Yeah, that means he's gonna play in the playoffs, and so
I
they
know.
are.
Me personally, I don't think he should rush it. But
Matter of fact, he's supposed to join the Sixers on, I guess, on their 2-game road trip here, and I guess whenever they go next. So we'll see.
Okay. Right. And so what they'll have to do, because they definitely gonna need him. It's automatically looking at the standings, fellas. We gonna play Atlanta 9-10. The teams can literally rest for the whole damn year, both of them at this point, because Chicago and Atlanta playing each other. That's gonna be the play in, and then Miami, Philly. And so Joel Embiid playing that game makes things really tough, etc. And so they still got a chance. Philly, if they were to get hot in Indiana with a drop or Orlando, they could still,
they can hop
you
into
know,
that
right,
safe area.
safety realm. So we'll see what happens with that. But the Heat could very well end up playing the Celtics, and that's going to be really interesting. And so, yeah, I agree, fellas, that the Eastern Conference definitely is Boston's. And so, high expectations from the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast for sure. And so, it should be. The Celtics went out and they spent a lot of money on that franchise. And so, we'll see what they do to try to get banner number 18, Jamar. And so, with that, here's, bro, to know what you got for us this morning on N's Basement. You got anything for us this morning, bro, on N's Basement?
Yep, there's been a lot of talk about this particular topic. I'm still sad about it. But who do you think starts in Pittsburgh? Russell Wilson or Justin Fields? Who ends the season as a starting quarterback in Pittsburgh this year?
Begins or ends?
Ends.
Ends. All right, that's a big difference. I know who begins, and that's Russell.
Yeah.
He's the favorite too. Mike Tomlin has publicly spoke on it, etc. Justin Fields, will likely learn from him. And I don't know. It depends. I can't answer it, Jamar. I can't, because it would depend on how things go. I tell you what, and if he not doing well, you know you got Justin.
Yeah.
That seat gonna get hot fast, real
hot.
Yeah, and so I think it depends. Man, they got a good situation though. They seem real good in Pittsburgh, real good.
Yeah. I'm gonna say our boy's gonna be the starter at the end of the season. It's two paths there, right? One is Russell Wilson just having a performance is just not there. The other would be injury, and with him being as old as he is, so I think he's around my age. I mean, one hit to the wrong side, it's a wrap. And yeah, he was very, very efficient last year, but I don't know. But what I do know is the margin for error in that division. It's very slim.
That's a good point as well, that division.
So
arguably, we stated last year that it was the best division in football. It proved to be. Everybody finished above 500 in that division. Everybody.
Correct.
The Bengals, 2 games above 500. They ain't even make the playoffs.
Correct. So, with Browning at quarterback.
Right. Yeah. Like, so that's a
Browns went to the playoffs with Joe Flacco.
Right.
So
you got Deshaun coming back, you got Joe Burrow coming back, and then you got Lamar in Baltimore with
the MVP, Lamar Jackson. So
2-time MVP.
So yeah, so it's like, let's just say they come out and be like 1-4 out the gate in that division. Like,
it's over.
Right.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap from there.
You might as well see what you got in Justin Fields and figure out if you're gonna, give him that extension or not. Like, just be done with it. Russell has a short lease. He should understand that. Either way, Russell wins because he's getting paid by Denver. So regardless, it's a win-win situation if that's the case. So it's whatever. But yeah, I think Justin finished the season though.
Yeah, I think, like you stated, and it's a tough division. I think if Russell Wilson come out, they first in the division, they playing well, then you stick with Russ, obviously. But if it's a little rocky, they 2-3, and he turning the ball over, and they lose games because of him.
Right. And you bring up an interesting point, Ian, bro. Literally 2-3. Most teams would be happy to be 2-3 at that point. Some of them, but with Pittsburgh, if they 2-3, you turn the ball over.
Yeah, they 3-3, and if he's not playing well, they turn the ball over because of him. They losing games because and that's not to say I wanted to see I want to see both of them. They black quarterbacks. I want to see both of them play well. So with a black head coach, so I want to see them both play well, whether who starts or not. But if he come out there and not play well, not only the team might be looking like Is it time for Justin to make his debut? Them
Right.
fans, it's gonna be them
The
fans.
fans is gonna be the
It's gonna be
fans
them
is gonna let
fans.
him know for sure.
That's
They're gonna
facts.
be screaming Justin's name in the stand. So
Right.
they they are in a real great position at quarterback, a real great position. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be exciting to see, but kind of hurtful to see, but it's gonna be exciting.
Right. Right. It's gonna be definitely hurtful for Bears fans, but
Oh yeah, another question. The Bears. Before we go, should the Bears really consider? Because I do think Caleb is the. I do think they're going to pick Caleb. But should they consider? So I got a two-part question to this too.
All
Should
right.
they consider taking Jaden Daniels? And is JJ McCarthy going to be the second quarterback taken off the board? Because I think JJ McCarthy going to be the second quarterback taken off the board.
Ooh,
well, okay. Over Drake
ooh.
Mayo.
I don't
Um,
think he should be, but I think they pushing for him to be the second quarterback taken off the board.
mm. Go ahead, Jamar.
I was about to say, did you want to go first?
I can go first. Yeah. So for me, bro, should the Bears consider Jaden Daniels? They should consider talking to him, yeah. But based off of everything that's happened, the off season, based off of the talent from what you hear, etc. I think the Bears should consider looking at Jaden. Yeah, talk to him. Sit down. You know, it's like a McDonald's interview. Sit him down, talk to him, yeah. But at the end of the day, yeah, you still taking Caleb. But at least talk to the kid and look at
Yeah,
him.
I'm sure.
But
Yeah.
you know, that's nice. And JJ McCarthy being the second best, ooh, that would be interesting because Drake Mayo has been since what last fall, guys. We've been hearing Drake Mayo, Drake Mayo, Drake Mayo. JJ McCarthy has recently, as of the college football playoff, has been in the offseason has been getting this momentum. And so should he be? No. Will he be? No. I don't think he will. Um, he might be talented. He might be a nice fit for Denver because Denver's looking at him, as y'all know, fellas. Sean Payton's looking at him a lot. Because they say he remind him of Drew Brees' type. I'm like, okay. And so yeah,
Hmm.
basically, yeah, man. The Bears, I think they taking Caleb Dog. They could look at Jaden, sit down, talk to him. Yeah, you know, what do you do? Yeah, you know, chop it up, you know. But no. Caleb at the end of the day, JJ McCarthy being drafted second, that's gonna be a miracle. It will heavily depend on the team. I'll leave it at that.
I don't
It
think so. I
depends on the
think
team.
Washington is really considering taking JJ at number two.
Wow, that's amazing because I think Jaden is clearly more talented.
Yeah, for sure. I mean I agree wholeheartedly, but
Man, Jaden is
the
clearly more
way
talented. Man.
I think he
Um,
impressed a lot of people at his pro day, and I don't think Drake May did, and I don't think people was expecting to, and so the talk is it's either gonna be Jaden or JJ at number two, but I really think Washington is really considering taking JJ number two.
yeah, because you
I
know
wouldn't
it'll be
personally,
interesting,
but
man. Right,
I don't know.
right. Because I've heard a lot with JJ for Denver. A few picks up, but we'll see, man. It'll be interesting. Jamar, what's your thoughts, bro?
All right. So as far as the first part, if I'm Ryan Poles, I would have to do my due diligence and check out the other quarterbacks, just by standard protocol and stuff. But as much time as you invested in Caleb Williams so far, from going to pro days, talking to him at the combine for about 20 minutes there, inviting him and his teammates out to dinner and all this other stuff, gonna invite him to Hallis Hall, like, yeah, at this point, it's a foregone conclusion, and I'm fine with it. Now, as far as this other question here, bruh, um, first and foremost, I don't even know how the JJ McCarthy hype train even started. Like, this is wild. I
Yeah, me
know that,
neither.
like, the fact that the man in the offense that he played in hardly ever threw the football, but yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, it is, and so all of a sudden, you know, your stock is rising like this just based on the limited things that you did. It's wild to me. But this feels like Will Levis from last year, right? That's what it feels like to me. The hype train on Will Levis, like all of a sudden, Will Levis supposed to be projected higher than this and that, and that man, he ain't get drafted today too.
Yeah.
So
I
the
don't think
answer
he lead the top 10 though.
probably
Wait, say it
not.
again. And you say you think he's going to be a top 10?
Yeah, I don't think he leads the top 10.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I don't think he's the. I think at best he might be the third QB off the board.
Yeah.
I think I know more than a fourth QB, but I think.
Mm-hmm.
And fellas, just to read this really quickly, Andy Jamar, McCarthy is projected to be a top 10 selection and go as high as number 2 overall potentially. Cal Stackall has McCarthy going to the Commanders at number 2. Pete Prisco has the Wolverines product going number 3 to New England. Chris Trapasso has him going number 4 to Denver via trade, and Ryan Wilson has the Vikings selecting him at number 5.
Yeah, I don't think he leads the top 5 or 6, and I really think Washington is really considering taking that too, because it kind of came out of nowhere. But
And by all means, as a Bears fan, please somebody take him before pick number 9. Just get a quarterback out the way because I got my eyes
exactly.
on
This helps us get what we want.
Yeah, by all means, somebody. Matter of fact, Minnesota, go ahead, trade in there, and go grab him or somebody. I like, by all means, I can care less. But it baffles me though. It's definitely baffling.
Yeah, man. For JJ McCarthy, I tell y'all what, fellas, if he don't turn out to do well and he was taken number 2 in by Washington, could we very well be looking up a few years later and be like, man, Washington, you know how we always look at quarterbacks, we were like, damn, this team missed out Jamal on this quarterback,
Mr. Trubisky 2.0.
Yeah. And so if Washington was to do that, and who's to say that we'll look up maybe 3-4 years from now and Washington be like, oh, you had Jaden Daniels. you went by him, from JJ McCarthy. And so if Washington was to do that and he don't turn out well, it would be so Washington. It would be so the Commanders organization. It would be really bad. And so because they have not been the best franchise as of late.
And then you'd be looking at Magic Johnson sideways too. Like, what are we doing?
Right. Exactly. That would not be a good look. So yeah, that's a really good point. And we'll see, man, because there's a lot of projections out there, 2 through 5 for him. And it's a heavy base draft quarterback out there. And so with that being said, fellas, it's time to head into the weekend. And so with that, just want to know, Jamar, start with you, and we follow up with you. Jamar, any final thoughts or shout outs, bro, as we head into the weekend?
All right, I got 3. I'll be as quick as possible here. 1, I just want to reiterate, please, can I see it in my lifetime? Can we get to the Final Four? Can Jeremy go to the Final Four and actually represent his team down there? Can I take my my degree out the storage here and put it back up in prominence? So come on, boiler up, please. All right, second one. I know you mentioned earlier, Brandon, that Jalen Brunson with the 61-point game, but at the same time, just want to throw out there, Wemby had 40 points, 20 boards, and 7 assists in the same game.
Yep, this is true.
Like, that is wild.
It's ridiculous to be that big and that athletic.
Right. And guys, as last week, as the real out there world, I am not saying that Zach Edey can stick him. No. I'm just saying he could have a job to try to tame him. That's it. That's all.
Fair enough.
That's it. Just try to tame him. And so, bro, man, Jamar, thank you for those final thoughts and shout outs, bro. That's dope. Any final thoughts and shout outs we head into the weekend, bro?
Was you still going, Jamar? That was it.
All right, you can go.
No, just enjoy. Got the Elite 8 on both ends, women's and men. Women's has been very, very interesting, man. The women's has been very interesting. So I'm excited to see that. Yeah, just enjoy the weekend, holiday weekend. Happy Easter to everybody. Try to spend time with your family. Go to church, Resurrection Sunday. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, man. Just reiterate, fellas. 4 great college games today for the women's side. All the superstars are playing in women's college basketball. Just enough for all 4 of them today, as we talked about earlier, fellas. We got the Elite Eight happening today and tomorrow. So enjoy sports, enjoy Resurrection Weekend, enjoy your family, your loved ones. We appreciate you all for rocking with us on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. And so we just always like to state that on behalf of the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we would like to say thank you for tuning in with us this morning. Continue to chop it up with us and support our podcast on various platforms. And if you would love to talk sports with us on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we are here and would love to do so with you. Your love and support is truly appreciated, and we hope you all have a blessed and safe Resurrection Weekend. Peace.